Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of mower repair, and today we're not repairing anything again, we're just going over some project updates and such. Also, happy July 4th, because, yeah, and you'll hear fireworks throughout the video, probably. But anyway, let's get started here in what I'm going to call the Gravely barn from now on, because that's where the Graveleys reside, at least what I have now. Except the lone Swisher. Start at the front of the barn here. The Swisher. Nothing much has happened since the last update video back in November of last year. Nothing much happened. I don't even know if it runs anymore. But it's here. Next up here, we have the 5240. I'm not exactly sure anything else that has changed since the last video I made. Besides adding the throttle lever. Kind of looks like we might have a little piddle under there, but I'm not sure if that's just water or oil. I don't think it's oil, but it could be. I want to do a little full service on the deck here, because I was mowing some tall grass a while ago, like back in early June, late May, and it did not want to chew through that very well at all. So I'm going to sharpen the blades up and do some other things. So I think this should be spinning a lot faster than it does. So yeah. This will probably actually end up being a leaf unit most of the time, because I think it does mulch leaves up relatively decently. At least dry ones, probably not wet ones as much. But back to Big ProMaster here. A lot has happened since the last video. Well, good and bad. The first good thing is this blade here I got off, and now has all of the blades are the same and not chewed up and crooked and bent at one end. Did an oil change on it. Will have to again. But yeah. Now the bad thing is the old spindle, or pulley, or sheave, depending on what you want to call it. And the tensioner here gave out. The bearing inside locked up a couple times, too many, and it decided to blow up. I mean, not like catch on fire, blow up, but grenaded, kind of. And after I got that one replaced, the very first mow after that, that one is starting to go out too. You can actually kind of see the top of the seal there is not attached to the pulley anymore. If I can, yeah, kind of show it, maybe. But that basically puts this and that bearing specifically at a high rate of, or high chance of it blowing up. Nothing back really much has happened to it. Besides, I did get the front of the deck repaired. And that is basically it for the ProMaster. And pretty much everything in this barn. So let's go over to the shop. Starting outside of the shop here, I don't think I've shown this too terribly much. This is the tractor that gave the engine to the ProMaster. I am looking for a replacement engine, preferably 15 to 20 horsepower for cheap. Doesn't even really need to run that good. Just to put something in it. What I want to do is try to turn this somehow into a way to lift mowers up or drag them down here. With some of the existing mechanisms, but I don't know if that'll ever happen in an efficient manner or not. But it'd be a cool thing if I could get it to work properly. It is in need of quite a bit of repair, and the reason why I don't want to turn it back into a mower is just look at how horrible this deck is. It is pretty much rusted all the way through on both sides, and it's just not ideal at all for extended use. I might pull parts off of it for other projects, like the spindles and maybe some of the hangers and stuff like that, but otherwise it's staying here. But I do want to get this Noma Performance mower going. For anyone who doesn't know, Noma Performance is a brand, or it's the Canadian version of Murray. So pretty interesting to have in the United States. But yeah, it's here. Surprisingly, the tires are holding air quite well for not being used at all since October. So, let's pop off the hood here. I don't have this attached at all. It's kind of a couple of parts in here. The drive, or the gear there for the steering is kind of floppy. The dashboard is floppy. And the whole shaft there is rusted. Muffler's rusted. A lot of the parts of the frame are also rusted, but overall it's a decent shaped tractor. If I remember correctly, when we did get it though, no reverse gear. I had to push it off the trailer. But all 6 gears worked besides reverse. So now it's the matter of getting this back hung up on there to cover the stuff. But yeah. Moving over here, we got a Craftsman, really old Craftsman. You can see it even says Sears on there still. I don't know when this was made at all. But it's got some kind of a Briggs & Stratton engine on it. I have no idea what kind. See if we can get a thing on the front here. Usually you can see a build date. I'll have to run that code. But I bet it's a 90. It's that code. But she's an old one. It does run to some extent, but the carb, as you can see, is hanging off of it because I've actually been starting to work on this thing again. The main issue, besides the engine running and not starting again, you have to prime it or get a carb, or I don't even think it works on prime anymore. It's weird, but the main issue is the self-propel don't work, and that's probably why I got this thing for $10. But yeah, it's a filthy pig. The next thing I'll show you in here, I want to try to use that to clean this thing up a little bit, so let's go in there. Alright, so here we have another thing that came in the lot with that mower and a lot of other mowers we're going to see here in a minute. We have a Coleman Briggs & Stratton 6 horsepower pressure washer. This thing works, except it doesn't shoot water. I'm going to take the hose off of here and clean the hose out really good and make sure that that's going to be even worth saving. I'm going to take the hose off and just run water through it to see if the water actually comes out both sides. Because otherwise I'll have to take the whole motor apart, or bottom of the motor apart, which I don't really want to do. Next up here is part of that same lot, along with the Craftsman, like I said, is a Craftsman edger. This thing, I don't exactly know what the issue is. I've cleaned the carb 3 times now, and it doesn't pull any fuel in. So I've gone ahead and pulled the carb off of another Tecumseh. That's what engine this has. I haven't actually gotten to see if this thing actually works at all yet, but I don't know if it will. and why it doesn't. Here we have a recoil off of this mower down here, which did not come in that lot. This was a free mower I found. It runs on choke only. It's a MTD, I want to say Yard Machines. With, I think is some kind of a knockoff Honda engine. It has very, very similar characteristics to the HR194, which I'll get to in a minute. The carb looks nearly identical. The pull system is pretty similar. The recoil, rather. But it don't say Honda on it anywhere, so I don't exactly know for sure. It starts, runs on choke, as mentioned. I broke the rope, and then I also broke one of the little screw ports. I have no idea what these things are called. Trying to put that recoil thing back on. Sheared the top half of that, so I'm going to have to go somewhere and get one to fix that. Here we have a whole, what I would say, reliable HR194. However, I would say that, or wouldn't say that rather, because this thing has been a pile of crap. I changed the carb on it in this winter, which I probably should not have done, because it sat all winter and a little bit of the spring until about May when I wanted to go mow with it, and you had to turn the blades on with the choke on, and then you could throttle back. And then the rope broke, and then a whole bunch of other things happened, and the recoil spring broke, and a lot. So, not very happy with it right now. And I think I have to replace the front valve gasket because it was leaking when running. I don't know if it's leaking now. It don't look like it, but yeah, it's not fun. Under this rug here, we have a Weed Eater 22-inch mower with a 500 series engine. This needs a new fuel tank. Pretty large hole underneath it. Rust basically ate it through, and then just handling it made the hole bigger. One thing I find interesting about these 500 series is the carb is kind of like a Weed Eater and is built into the gas tank. So I'll plan on getting a carb for it with everything attached and all that. So save a little bit of time. It's like $30. I paid like, I don't know, $10 for this mower, so $40. Hopefully we sell it for a small profit. I don't even know if anyone wants Weed Eater mowers anymore. But one thing I will not be trying to even attempt to sell is this pile of crap back here. This has a Tecumseh engine on it, which has the carb for that thing now. This thing has a bad oil leak and is leaked around the whole front of the mower. Can't really see it maybe, but this is a parts donor for any engines that have any Tecumseh engines, because it's not in very good shape, and it's also missing a few parts. So it's pretty much exclusively a parts donor now. So coming back here is the old sad Toro 2000, I think. Is it? I don't know where the top part went. Might be in the other barn. But this thing I slowly started putting back together. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I need a carb for it because the carb was missing a lot of parts. And yeah. So, oh, it's up there. CCR 2000, I believe. So, as I was going to say, that basically sums up most of the projects. I'll just talk about some things that were completed between here and the last video. I got the sulky for the 5240 together with a new tire. Put a tube on it. Not like a new tire, but I put a tube on it. Seems to be holding air. I don't ever plan really on using it because of the whole fact that it is kind of a pile of crap. And I hate driving with it. It's just a pain to get functioning, I guess. But down here we can have my first welding project. Some of the welds are horrible. I'm not going to go too close. But some of them are horrible. Some of them are alright. But that's basically what I was talking about with the Noma is a tractor mover. But unlike the one with the Noma, this one's kind of to go on the back of a mower, so you could latch that on and use it kind of as a pull behind thing. I don't even know if it'll work, but that's the idea. So yeah, that's basically it for everything. I should mention there's 2 carbs on this table here, from the ProMasters engine. Here's the original one, and then there's the old one there, or the replacement one. For whatever reason, it stopped working, like, at all. Like, I literally had to run it across the road with the starter, because I was across the road mowing, and I had to run across the road with the starter, as mentioned. Which is not good. So I basically pulled that up here with the starter and was somehow able to get it started again. I don't exactly know what the issue was, but and I went to put it back on after cleaning it. It stripped out the bottom there and did not hold it. We went to get a new carb. Same thing happened going in. With the original bolts on the engine, I should say, as well. So that's the old SAB card there. I don't even know if it really even got a lot of use out of that one. It might have started like twice, so that's basically a brand new carb. And then I got another carb that which was correct, and that's what's on it currently. But yeah, and then it ended up being the magneto and not the carb, but it did run a ton better with a new carb on it and a new magneto. So yeah, I digress off of that though. This video is 17 minutes, a little longer than I wanted it to be. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and subscribe if you want to save some more mowers. Next video should be something, a lot of interest, and I've been wanting one of these for a long time. It might or may have something to do with Gravely, because yeah. So hopefully next time you'll see something in this labyrinth here. I gotta clean this up though, if I wanted that. But all I'll say is it's a Gravely. I don't know what, but it will be a Gravely. And it shouldn't be too far from now, hopefully. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Happy 4th of July, and see you next time. Goodbye.